Yes, I've been running about 24 hours with the Decoupled Vera. And yeah, it looks like everything's working. I didn't notice anything strange today. This morning when I got up, it was triggered over to daytime. So the sunrise and sunset things work. I'm not sure where that comes from, but I think it's based on your latitude and longitude location and then the network time, and then someplace the controller figures out based on the time and the date and the latitude, longitude, when your sunrise and sunset are. But anyway, that was correct. And my diversion load code ran all day. I think it was a little more stable than it sometimes gets. Of course, it's after sunset, so nothing really is happening here. And one thing I noticed here was the system monitor, the CPU load here, was quite a bit lower than normal. It was like between 0.25 and 0.41, and it stuck on the lower side of that and would even drop like to 0.18. And now the diversion load code isn't running, it's down at 0.04. So really light load on the CPU, which I guess is one of the advantages of having it decoupled from the cloud service. And let's see, over on Home Assistant, so I've got the power here. Green line is the total power, and you can see here during the day it was basically down around 50 watts, which is where I have the code set up. And then right here I had a rice cooker running, so that's why it's kind of choppy there. And like here's the refrigerator running. It's on line 1, the yellow, and then line 2 is my solar. And then here's the actual diversion load. So it was using 125 watts. So the diversion load was just shaving off the excess power. And yeah, that seemed to run normally. I didn't see anything weird. I did figure out what was going on up here. There was a patio light under the switch category, and that wasn't working, but for some reason a couple of weeks ago there were 2 copies or a second copy of that made. So there was one here under my patio area, and right there it works. So I just had to delete the excess one. I don't think it was related to the Vera Decouple because it said it hasn't been working for 2 weeks. But I think I've got the Synology pretty much set up. So I wanted to show you some of the things I had to do here. So this is in your control panel, regional options, and you enable the NTP Network Time Protocol service. So that's all you have to do there is just check that box and click apply, and your Synology is now an NTP server. Under users and group, I created a Vera User, I guess for sending log files and backup files. Under my Vera User, under applications, I just made sure that it could use the FTP. Okay, and then this was the other thing I did a while back, was set up a DNS server. So do that from the package center, and then you have this DNS server package. I followed a web page that basically showed you how to do this. So I created this zone called myhome.local, zone settings. I guess this is nameserver.myhome.local was this address. The example I followed was on a Synology NAS, and so they put nas.myhome.local. I don't know if that's required. I just followed the write-up, and then myhome.local points to ns.myhome.local, which is down here, and that's the local IP address of my NAS in my home networks. And then under your DNS, you enable the resolution service, the DNS server, and then you enable these forwarders. So you pick 2 DNS servers external. Supposedly this one is the best. There's forward first and forward only. So then the idea is if the network goes down, I've got a local DNS server on the Synology NAS. It won't be able to do anything, but at least it can resolve names. And Vera, if it wants to look up a host name, it can look it up. It might not be able to contact it, but at least it's happy that there's somebody responding to those requests. That's about all I know about the DNS. And again, you put that in your Vera Decouple setup script. And then the last thing I just got working this afternoon here, I think this one is loaded by default. If not, it's one of the Synology ones. It's just called Log Center. You have to go over here to Log Receiving. What I did was I created this Vera log, I guess whatever they call it, the name of the custom rule, and you just check off. These are all the defaults. So it's just BSD format. I'm just using UDP port 514, and that's what's in the Vera config setup file. Like here's the overview. This is my Vera 148. So I think this is the Vera running this rotate logs.sh command on the Vera and just telling the log server that it did that. So it seems to do that about every minute. You can see these little blips. Here's my FTP connections. So you can see user Vera logged in via FTP, and then it logged out via FTP. 0 bytes uploaded, 0 bytes downloaded. So it's not doing anything, but it's connecting. So again, I'm not sure what actually is supposed to happen there. So yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd show you the setup and the Vera. It looks like everything's working. Again, I'm not sure if the backup thing is supposed to do anything. Maybe it only does something if a file changes. That could be too. But yeah, all of this stuff worked. It seemed to be a little more stable, a little more steady than normal. The time of day thing worked. All of my devices work, at least as far as things look. I'm gonna let this go for a month. Like I say, the only thing that seems to be missing is my Google Assistant, Google Home can't talk to my Vera anymore. But I've only used that once when I set it up just to see if it worked, and it worked several years ago. So I'll have to decide if that's worth $30 a year to be able to ask Google to turn on a light versus just turning on a light with a switch. Or all the lights I have either have a switch or a motion sensor. I've got the app on the phone. I've got the web interface right here if I want to turn on the patio light. So yeah, I don't know if that's worth $30 a year to do that. And literally all I have to do is walk outside into the patio at night and the light will turn on all by itself. I don't have to do anything. So yeah, that kind of falls in with my avatar. That was something Louis Rossmann was encouraging, getting around cloud service, cloud connected things, and not falling into the subscription rigmarole. Just figure out how to unlock your hardware that you already own without having to pay. I've bought this Vera Plus 8 years ago, something like that, and I paid for it then, and it's worked fine up till now. And if I have to start paying $30 a year, in 3 years I could buy a new controller, but the one I have works just fine. If it's decoupled, it seems to actually work a little better, and I'm just missing one or two features. Yeah, so that was the deal with the paperclip icon. Clippy was, don't provide your own photo to all of these companies. Give them some generic Clippy image as your thumbnail or avatar, whatever you want to call it. I do, if you click on my profile, You can watch this video to get the full story behind the profile picture right there. Really good video done by Louis Rossman, and I was waiting to do this as my little contribution. Now, I didn't write the script. That's Patrick. He did all the work. I just kind of worked through it. But yeah, definitely thumbs up to Patrick for putting together that script. Looks like things are working. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that update here. The Vera seems to be running along just like normal. Don't think anything is really different. Home Assistant still talks to it. The only one is Google Assistant doesn't talk to it. But I used that exactly one time when I shot the video of setting up my patio light. Yeah, so right now I don't subscribe to the Home Assistant cloud service, but I could, and that would then give me the Vera from outside the house. So I would rather do that because I get Home Assistant plus Vera. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, drop that in the comments section below. And as always, thanks for watching.